The bell rang sharp at 8:30 a.m., echoing through the glossy corridors of Crestwood International Academy, a school known not just for its elite education, but for its students who walked like royalty. Expensive shoes clicked on marble floors, perfume lingered in the air, and laughter rose in the hallways, the kind of laughter that carried a cruel edge for anyone who didn't belong. Among the crowd of branded uniforms and designer bags walked a quiet girl, Lila Carter, 15 years old, with deep brown eyes and a worn-out satchel clutched to her chest. Her shoes were scuffed, her uniform slightly faded, and her posture humble. She moved like someone who didn't want to be seen, but couldn't help standing out for the wrong reasons. It was her third week at Crestwood, a scholarship student, transferred after her old public school closed down due to funding cuts. She had expected challenges, but she hadn't expected the cruelty that came dressed in luxury. Every day was a test, not of academics, but of endurance. The whispers followed her wherever she went. She probably can't even afford lunch. Did you see her backpack? It's ripped. Why does she even go here? This isn't for people like her. The worst of them was Ava Sinclair, the self-proclaimed queen of Crestwood. With her shining blonde curls, diamond-studded earrings, and a phone that cost more than Lila's rent, Ava ruled the social circle with a smile that hid venom. Her group, Harper, Chloe, and Madison, were her loyal shadows. Together, they made sure Lila never forgot she was different. That morning, Lila had just stepped into class when Ava's voice sliced through the chatter. "Hey everyone, look who's here! The charity case!" The classroom erupted in laughter. Lila froze mid-step, her face burning, her fingers tightening around her notebook. Ava leaned back in her chair, smirking. "Did your mom finally save up enough coins to buy you lunch today?" Lila wanted to respond, but the words died in her throat. She lowered her eyes, walked silently to her seat at the back, and tried to disappear. But Ava wasn't done. "Oh wait, maybe we should all chip in a few dollars," she continued, pulling out a crisp bill and waving it mockingly. Poor Lila might starve otherwise. The laughter returned, cruel, unfiltered, echoing in her ears like gunfire. That was the moment Lila made a silent promise to herself. "You'll remember me one day." Lunch break came, and Lila slipped out to the small garden behind the school, a quiet corner few students visited. She sat on the bench, opening her lunchbox, 2 slices of bread, 1 apple, and a small note folded neatly inside. She unfolded it slowly. It was her mother's handwriting. "Keep your head up, my star. The world tests strong hearts first." Lila smiled faintly, blinking away tears. She didn't want to cry, not here, not where they could find her weakness. Just as she took a bite, she heard laughter, familiar voices, Ava and her gang. They were coming her way. "Oh my God, there she is! Look, she's eating bread again," Chloe sneered. Ava smirked. "Is that your gourmet meal, Carter? Maybe you can share your crumbs with the birds." Before Lila could react, Harper snatched her lunchbox and tossed it into the air. The apple rolled into the dirt. Lila stood up, trembling. "Give it back," she said quietly. Ava tilted her head mockingly. "Or what? You'll cry again? You know, you should thank us. We're teaching you what real life is like." For a moment, silence filled the air. Lila's hands balled into fists, her heart pounding, but she said nothing. She just picked up her lunchbox, brushed off the dirt, and turned away. Ava rolled her eyes. "Pathetic," she whispered. That night, Lila sat at her small wooden desk in their one-room apartment. Her mother, Elena Carter, worked 2 jobs, as a cleaner in the mornings and a nurse assistant at night. When she came home, she found Lila quietly studying. "How was school, honey?" she asked. Gently, though her eyes already knew the answer. "It's fine," Lila lied, forcing a smile. Elena brushed her daughter's hair softly. "You know, Lila, the world doesn't see what's inside yet, but when it does, they'll be the ones speechless." Lila nodded silently. She didn't know what her mother truly meant, but something about her tone felt like a secret, one that would change everything. The next day, a storm rolled over Crestwood, and the mood inside the school was no different. Rumors spread that the school was preparing a special donor ceremony, a wall unveiling for those who had contributed to rebuilding the library. The Donor Wall of Honor. engraved with the names of those who gave back to the academy. Ava was ecstatic. Her father's company had donated heavily. "Finally, something worth attending," she said proudly. "My dad's name will be right on top." Lila listened quietly from her corner. She didn't care much about ceremonies. She just wanted the week to end without humiliation. But fate had other plans. That afternoon, as rain lashed against the windows, Lila was walking down the corridor when Ava called out again. "Hey, bread girl!" Lila stopped. "We were just talking," Ava continued, walking closer, her eyes glinting with mischief. "We decided we're going to help you out. You can have my old shoes. They're designer, but maybe they'll make you look less homeless." Harper laughed. "Or we can start a fundraiser for her." "Save the poor girl of Crestwood." Lila swallowed hard. "You think you're better than everyone because you have money," she said quietly. Ava smirked. "No, I know I am." Lila stared at her for a long moment, then said softly, "Money doesn't make you rich, Ava. Someday you'll understand that." Ava's smile faltered for just a second. "Whatever helps you sleep, Charity Case." The next day, the ceremony began. The entire school gathered in the grand auditorium. The stage was draped in gold curtains, the donor wall covered by a velvet cloth. Cameras flashed, parents mingled, and teachers whispered excitedly. The principal, Mr. Dalton, stepped up to the microphone. "Today, we honor those whose generosity has shaped the future of Crestwood. Our library, our labs, our future, all made possible by these remarkable contributions." The crowd clapped.